Newark residents Kyla Meekins, age 21, and her alleged co-conspirator Dante Barkley, age 28, were indicted after allegedly forcing two 15-year-old victims and one 13-year-old victim to perform sexual acts. In this case, the defendants allegedly arranged for the victims to engage in sex acts using smartphone apps and posting online ads including nude photos of the minors. The children victims, and I want to underscore that these were children, were then allegedly taken to short-term rentals and hotels to engage in sex acts. These alleged crimes are a stark reminder as to why we must be steadfast in our goal to end human trafficking in all of its forms.
That one right there, this Essex County one, let's just overview what he said. So you had a 28-year-old guy and a 21-year-old girl traffic 3 minors. So 2 15-year-old girls and a 13-year-old girl. They're trafficking kids that age. Now, why is that important to me, or should be to everybody? So you have a couple. So a lot of times you think of sex traffickers, you think about these crazy groups of spooky men grabbing women up in vans, and that does happen. But the other part of it is a lot of times you do have men and women teams. Those recruiting teams, or not even recruiting teams, but those traffickers or recruiting teams, sometimes they come in the form of a man and a woman, which makes women drop their guard a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people have to understand that. And if you're talking about somebody who's typically, if you think of a sex trafficker, you don't think of like a 28-year-old guy and a 21-year-old girl.
Yeah.
They just don't come to mind.
Yeah, no, not at all. You're thinking men, older men, maybe.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, definitely not someone. Because if you're 21, wait, how old was the girl?
The girl was 21.
Okay, so if you're 21, you can look younger than 21. You know what I mean?
Course.
That's horrible. Ugh, that's horrible.
When you have kids that are 15 and 13, this case really just shocked me, because when you think about it, you wonder, like, what was the scenario? How did they get?
What was the circumstance to get these kids right?
To the point. And like we said a few minutes ago, it might be situations where these kids are either runaways, or it could be a situation where these kids maybe don't have parents who are able to attend to them heavily like that. And those are crucial years between 13 and 17.
Yeah.
Or even more focused in between 13 and 15 to 16 are very crucial years for girls, I think. You know what I'm saying? And they are very impressionable years, because you're talking about kids who are coming out of childhood into teenage years. And that's where people first start to learn about themselves. They feel uncomfortable, the pimples and all these different things. And it's a very impressionable time for boys and girls. So this scenario,
and I also think they're not quite aware of the world yet. You know what I mean? In the way in which they should be aware of their surroundings and be careful of the interactions that you have with people. I think they are still young enough to still feel somewhat safe and just not be aware of the creeps that are coming out at night and the dangers around the corner. You know, they're not on high alert like that, and their level of awareness of those kinds of issues aren't really a part of their lives or their conversations. You know what I mean? So there's a level of innocence there.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's definitely
on their behalf,
and they don't at that point.
That's being taken advantage of for sure.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times if you have someone kind of preying on the idea of how you look, or or opportunity, they don't really, there's an innocence there because they hear opportunity.
Yeah.
And they don't think of, is this opportunity legit?
Right.
I be in danger?
Right. And surely this person wouldn't be lying to me.
Yeah. And as you get older, your spidey senses go up a little bit more.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old is still impressionable and vulnerable, but they might be like, let me see. So for instance, if you're talking to a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old and you say, hey, I have this opportunity for you to model or something like that. In
Yeah.
their mind, they don't even know the context of an opportunity
Yeah.
versus someone who might be 18, 19. They might you might have to give them a little bit better of a fake story for them
Yeah.
to come along with you. So, that's what's crazy. But when it really comes down to that age group, like you were saying, like we're saying, is that you have to make sure that you talk to them about what's out there, not just strangers, and tell them about sex trafficking, tell them about kids that get snatched up and end up in those situations, because it's a scary thing to talk to your kids or kids that you know about it. But it's really tragic when you talk about kids not only being kidnapped, but we're talking about just really destroyed at a young age.
Yeah.